I want to add payment options to my WordPress website and allow people to pay with credit card, have different payment options, monthly payments and full pay, for example, and one with the least amount of credit card fees. I keep seeing PayPal as an option, which I have, but curious how an expert like yourself handles this. We're going to go into our next question, which is from Anuschka. Anuschka is a super action taker. She took our advice from class 1, and by class 2, she had already implemented that solution, and we're so proud of her for doing that. She's got another question. She says, I thought of another question. I want to add payment options to my WordPress website and allow people to pay with credit card, have different payment options, monthly payments and full pay, for example, and one with the least amount of credit card fees. I keep seeing PayPal as an option, which I have, but curious how an expert like yourself handles this. That's a great question, Anuschka. Another great question, I should say. Thank you for your previous questions. Yeah, let's talk about that for a little bit. PayPal is a huge player in the marketplace and is a great default resource. There's a couple others that I use, but it really depends on the method and the way that you're getting that payment. So the two that I use most are PayPal and Square. PayPal is great for online stuff. If it's on a website, if you want to have like a pay button or a donate button or a shopping cart, and you don't want to commit to one of these full-blown e-commerce or shopping website solutions. By the way, I have a resource page on my website, gilbertstudios.com/resources. I do have links to a lot of these kind of things there. So go there to check out what I call website alternatives. There's some ways to create e-commerce websites there. But that's like a full-blown solution, and that might not work for everyone. They may want just a button that they can drop on their current website. And I think that's what Anuschka is asking about right now, is what about PayPal creating a button? So you'll want to map out kind of what options you want people to have, because you'll have to pre-program those buttons to do that specific task. Now, as I start to talk in generality here, I'm probably going to lose you. So what I'd like to do is just show you in real time how that actually works, how you can actually set that up. Let me address a couple of your questions here real quick. You said, you want people to pay with credit card, okay? Have different payment options, monthly and full pay, and one with the least amount of credit card fees. So if you're providing a service for someone and you bill them after the fact, like for example, website design service, I want to hire you, CJ, we're working on this project, now I'm going to bill you for 3 or 4 hours or whatever it is. I use Square for that because I can go to Square, I can generate an invoice, I can email it to my client, they can pay it using the secure site, and everything's fine and dandy. Square takes care of the fees and the transfer of the money and all that kind of stuff for me. PayPal does that too. You can also submit invoices through PayPal, but I've begun to separate the two. I kind of like it like, I like to think of PayPal as through my website tools, purchasing a product or a service kind of button, versus Square, where in person, you can hand me your card, I swipe it through the thing, or even virtually, you can take payments over the phone, you can send people an invoice and they can pay it that way. So those are the two that I like. If you do not have a Square account, jump over to my resources page, use my Square link to sign up for a Square account. This is my affiliate link with Square. It does not cost you more to use my link. In fact, it's going to give you a bonus. If you find the link on my resources page and you use it to sign up for Square, they're going to give you $1,000 of free processing. That is to say, you will not pay the fees on the first $1,000 of income that you collect. So their fee, I want to say, is around 3.5%. Plus, plus or minus 15 cents here and there. I don't remember the exact configuration of those numbers, but it's very affordable. And it also has to do with the bulk. How much credit card transactions you're doing. If you're a shop and you do credit card transactions all day, every day with every customer that walks through the door, you're going to want a different kind of merchant account. I also have links on my resources page to that. There's one called Home and Business Resources. Check that one out. That will put you in touch with a credit card processor that will set you up with a credit card machine for your business. That's another level, right? We're talking about, when we're talking about Square and PayPal, we're talking about the occasional transaction or an invoice after the fact. It is a whole other level if you have a shop and people are coming into your shop all day, every day, swipe, swipe, swiping that credit card. You want to make sure that you've got the best fees and the bulk rate and that kind of thing. So let me know which of those categories you fall in, and I can help guide you to the right solution. Oh, PayPal might work best. Oh, Square is going to be best. Or, oh, you really need a full-blown credit card processing solution. You need a merchant account. We can help you set up that too. I've got resources on all of those things. But I think Anuschka's really asking about PayPal because she wants to add some sort of a button to her website. So shall we take a look at what that looks like right now, guys? Let's jump right in. Let me do this. I'm going to just park you guys really quick on this screen while I log into my account, and then I'm going to take you to the right place in just a moment. And then along the top of the screen, there are some buttons, and one of the buttons says, I'm waiting for it to load. One of the buttons says Tools. If you hold your cursor over the Tools button, you may see one that says PayPal Buttons. Now, if you do not see PayPal Buttons in the Tools dropdown, you may need to add it to the dropdown. Okay, so here we are inside PayPal. I've entered into my PayPal account, and I've clicked on, at the top here, you can see there's Tools, and then PayPal Buttons. If you don't have that PayPal Buttons showing up yet, that's okay. You'll have to go into the tools, and then there will be a little heart icon that you can click near PayPal Buttons, and that's going to add it to this top menu for you. Let me know if you have any problems with that step. Otherwise, you'll have to go to the tools first, and then it lets you pick which tools you want to show up. PayPal Buttons is one of those that I've chosen to show up, so it's in that drop down for me all the time. So when you click PayPal Buttons, it's going to give you a couple choices of different kinds of buttons. So real quick, I'll run through these to see what's going to be the right kind of solution for you. Buy now. This is if you have a single item or a single service that you want them to buy and pay for, you'll want to create a Buy Now button. Single thing. Here's the button, click it, make payment, and we're done. This is different than the Add to Cart. Add to Cart is where you want to sell multiple items. So think of it like you have a catalog, right? Maybe you have 3 to 5 choices to 20 to 1 million. And you need to create a button for each one of your products. Let's say that you have a candle shop and you have 5 flavors of candle, right? Vanilla, cinnamon, I don't know, a berry of some kind, right? So you have to create a specific button for each one of those candles. My vanilla candle, my berry candle, my cinnamon candle. And when someone clicks the Add to Cart, it takes that and it adds that item to their virtual shopping cart. And then they're going to have to make another click on checkout to actually finish up that process. So see how this is different? The first one is I just want this one thing. I click Buy Now and now I pay for it. Or I'm on your catalog and I want to pick a couple items. I want the vanilla candle. I want 2 of the cinnamon. I want 1 of the berry. Click, 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 click. Then you check out multiple items. Does that make sense? There's a couple other options here too. Donate. That's where you want to accept donations and contributions on your site. And subscribe. This is where you can set up recurring charges of the same amount for your goods and services. There's also an installment plan. So that's new that they've added subscribe versus installment plan. One or the other of those might work for you, Anuschka. If you have the kind of program where someone's paying every month for something, like it's $17 a month or $47 a month to access some kind of material or some kind of training, then subscribe is the tool you want. That's going to be ongoing. But Anuschka was asking about some sort of an installment plan, like, right, they could pay one full thing, or maybe they want to break their payment into 3 or 4 installments. That's when you're going to want to choose the installment plan. It's going to charge them so much right now, and then so much a month or a week or whatever for however long we create it for. So we could take a look at, do you have a preference? If you're still watching Anuschka, do you have a preference of which one of these you want to check out? I was thinking I could build one right here live in front of you, and then you could see. Let's see what this donate button looks like, because I'm thinking I could create one of these right now, and we can add it to our website. So we've got a couple options here. We want the large one, we want a small one, show accepted credit cards. This is a little bit of a different window since I've last created a button. So that's interesting. This button is intended for fundraising. If you are not raising money for a cause, please choose another button. All right, that's not the one I want to make here for you guys right now. Let's go with the buy now button. Let's take a look at what that looks like. I think that's the one that's going to work best for you. There's a couple steps, by the way. You'll need to create a couple web pages on your website to assist you with this. I will show you right now what I mean by that, okay? So here's the screen I was looking for. Buy now. This is probably the buy now button. This is probably the one you want. So the first option is choose button type. This is where you can choose one of those other options we were looking at. Maybe you actually wanted the shopping cart one. Maybe you want to create an installment plan or a subscription service. For now, I'm just going to go with the buy now, the one-click buy now solution. And I'm going to call it item name. Okay, so this is where you name your item or service. So I'm going to, let's call this buy, let's call it, should we call it Buy the Geek? My concept here is I'm going to put this on the web page, and it's going to let you buy the geek a cup of coffee or a Coke or something, right? So should we call it Tip the Geek, or buy the geek a drink, or you know, the Dorito and Coke fund, or you know, what should we call that? Tip the geek, tip a geek. I don't know. What do you think? Tip the geek? Let's go with that. Okay, you can have an, oops, sorry, when I hit that, it's not good for you. You can have an item ID if you have inventory, if you have like a, what's the word I'm looking for? A SKU. Hey, there it is, SKU, SKU. If you have a SKU, if you have a lot of products and each one of those represents an inventory number or a SKU, you can add that right here so you can see on the back end when someone orders that. Could be helpful for you. Okay, and then the price. So there's a lot of options here, and I just can't show you every option, Anuschka. So please let me know if you have specific questions or we want to adjust this in any way to your specific situation. For now, I'm just going to keep moving forward with my best guess. So I'm going to put this button on the website. I'm going to put that it's $1, and this is going to allow people to choose how many dollars they want to tip me to buy me a Coke or a coffee. That's the concept we're going with. And you guys watched it happen live. Okay, do we want a drop-down menu with a price or option? This could be, you know, admit one to my event. 1 ticket, 25. 2 tickets, 50. 3 tickets, you know, 75 or 70, right? So you can specify a drop down with different options. I'm not going to do that in my example, but if you wanted to, that's how to do it. You can add a text field if you need a comment, like choose your color, and then they can type red or green or whatever, right? You can customize the text or appearance. You can use your own custom button. If you don't like the big fat orange button that PayPal uses, then feel free to create your own button graphic and use that on your site. There's a couple places where I use my own graphic on my website, and sometimes I like to use the PayPal graphic because people are familiar with the way it looks and they understand that they're paying through PayPal. So I'm going to go ahead and keep using the PayPal button for my example here, just to keep it as simple as possible. Too late. You can also select what you want that button to say. Do you want it to say buy now or pay now? I'm going to go with buy now on my example. For shipping and taxes, there's an area inside your PayPal account where you can specify how you want PayPal to handle shipping and how you want it to handle taxes. And then you can specify in your settings, like globally, this is my general shipping rules. These are my general tax rules. And then as you create each item, you can specify, use my general settings or override those settings with something specific. Like like on this product, it's really heavy, so I need to charge extra shipping or whatever the case may be. So in our example right here, I'm going to say use settings, and use my secure merchant account ID. Okay. You don't need to worry about that. This button right here lets you save the button at PayPal. I recommend that you do that. It allows you to edit it later, change the price, change what it's called, etc. Did I specify it was $1? Yes, I did. Okay, good. Step 2, if you want to use this to track inventory, really interesting, you can make it, you can set how many items are available, and then when that's been sold, it's no longer available to buy. That could be useful to you. Or you might just want it to track your inventory in general to let you know when it's getting low and you need to reorder, that kind of a thing. If you are at the place where you want to track inventory with your sales, you might want a different solution than PayPal. We might look at integrating something into your website system that actually does that for you. So that might be a different conversation. If you're at that level, you can do it with PayPal, but I might suggest something different, a different solution. I would encourage you to use this for simple things. Anuschka, you might have one button. I'm making up these numbers, $500 for session A, or 3 payments of $200. You might just have those 2 buttons, right? That might be the simple solution for you. And then we're going to go into the step 3. Do you want to let your customer change order quantities? In my case, I'm going to click yes, because if they click pay now, it's going to put in their cart $1. I want them to be able to say, yeah, CJ works hard. I'm going to give him $2, maybe $3. He needs a big Coke, right? Today, Diet Coke, please. He needs a big coffee this morning to wake up and talk about websites with me. So I'm going to give him $2 or $3. So this is the setting that's going to allow them to increase it beyond $1. Okay, so you'll see how I'm creating that, and then later you'll see it actually appear on the website, so you can play with that when you tip me $1. You don't have to, but if you'd like, I'll gladly take it. I love coffee. Can your customer add special instructions and a message to you? I'm going to say yes. It could be no. You don't want them to talk to you. You can click no if you want additional information. This is a great place to ask for it, and you can change what it says. Right now it says add special instructions to the seller. So I'm going to change that to say add a word of encouragement for the geek. 40 character limit. For the geek. Add a word of encouragement for the geek. Okay, do you need your customer shipping address? I'm going to click no. I do not need your shipping address in this case. Here's this next section. Here's where you need to create those other pages on your website first. So you might want to create these other pages first and then come create the button. Or you might not remember it until you're creating the button, and then you get to this stage and you say, oh shoot, yeah, CJ said I needed to create these pages. So if that happens to you, this is how you handle it. So I'm gonna jump you over to the Ask a Web Geek website. I'm gonna jump into the dashboard, which is the back end of the website. This is a WordPress website, so it's probably very similar to how you may have it set up on your own website. I'm gonna create a new page. So I'm gonna go into my pages, and I'm going to create a new page. Now I'm going to create 2 pages right now. The first page is your payment is successful. That's one page. The second page is your payment was canceled. Now you can let PayPal do that with its own messaging, but I think it's a better user experience if you create the page on your own website. It just solidifies to the client that they're in the right place at that moment. Whether they've canceled the order or whether they've completed the order, it gives them a sense of, oh, okay, this is the right place and I'm dealing with the right person. So having these web pages on your having these confirmation pages on your own website is super important. So I'm going to call this PP success, and I'm also going to have PP cancel. So this one's going to be PP success, and just for now, I'm going to put in some super generic text just to create these pages. I'll fancy it up later without taking up your time to do that. So on the PP success page, we're going to have it say, your payment was successful. Please check your email for a receipt. Actually, I'm going to say your payment was successful. You will receive an email receipt, or you will receive a receipt by email or something. I'm going to let that fix my. I'm going to let it fix my spelling, and I'm going to go ahead and say your payment was successful. I want that to be the top level heading. And then this one, I just want it to be a regular paragraph, but I want it to be italicized. Your payment was successful. That's all I need to do on this page. We're going to have no sidebar, and we're going to publish it. I have no idea what this is going to look like. It's just for demonstration purposes at this point. But now that this page has been created, we can open it and take a look at it, and it's going to look like this. PP success. Your payment was successful. You will receive an email receipt. Okay, the page exists. It's not pretty yet. I'll have to do that later, but that lets you grab this link right here, and this is the link you want to drop into this box right here. Take customers to this URL when they finish checkout. So they've finished their checkout, they've completed the payment. PayPal is automatically going to drop them on this page on your website that says your payment was successful. Okay, when they click the link that says, it says, what does it say? It says complete and return to merchant. I think that's what it says. When they click that link, then they'll land on this page, okay? And I'm also going to create a PP cancel page. Now that doesn't exist yet. I haven't built it, but I just want to finish up this process so you can see it. So when I create that page in just a few seconds, it will exist, and then people will be able to, they'll see that page instead. It'll say, your payment was canceled. No transaction occurred. Please let us know if you have any questions. That kind of a thing. So with those pieces in place, now we can create this button right here at the bottom. Create button. And we're going to let it do that. Then it's going to generate this code. And this is the code right here that you're going to drop into your website that's going to create that button. It's going to create the button that you can see right over here on the side, the buyer's view. So this is the code. You'll want to select it. You'll want to right click and click copy, or you can hit Control C to copy it, select the code, copy it. You're going to drop that button on your PayPal page. I would not actually do this on the payment page, so pay no attention to where I'm actually dropping this code. I just want you to see that when I drop the code on a page, the button shows up. So I'm going to put it here, and then I'm going to remove it again so you don't see it later. So let me just update this page. And then we're going to zip right over here to that payment page. I don't want it to be the cancel page. So there it is. See how I dropped the code in, and now it's a payment button. Now it's not going to be there in just a few minutes. I'm going to fix it later. But you can see a couple things happening here, right? You can see the payment page exists, or excuse me, the success page exists, and you can also see that button is now created and available to use. So let's see what happens when I click on it. You know what? When I click on it, it might give me an error because I'm literally logged into the PayPal window. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create an incognito browser for the sole purpose of showing you what this button looks like. Good, and I'm just going to flip to this browser real quick. Okay, so here we are on our success page. The only reason I've got this button right here is so I can click it. And then when you click it, it takes you over to PayPal, and let's see what it says. Tip the geek, $1. So here you can change it. You know, let's give him $2. Let's give him $3, right? And then you click continue, and then it's going to have you log in. And if you have an account, they want you to log into your account first. If you do not have an account, you can usually just fill this out and as a guest checkout. Quick disclaimer for you. if your client already has a PayPal account and they already have some credit cards associated with their PayPal account, and then they try to use one of those credit cards without logging in first, PayPal will make them. PayPal will say, hey, we recognize that credit card number and we really need you, our customer, to log in with your password so we know for sure you're the right person to use that credit card. So PayPal is really wanting to tighten down on their security, make sure no one's ripping you off, no one's using your information without your consent. So they make you log into your PayPal account first if you have one and there's already a credit card associated with it. Do you have further questions on this? Let me know. Come to the Facebook group, Ask a Web Geek. Tweet me, Ask a Web Geek, or join us on any of the channels where you're finding this. Leave a comment, or even come to our website, askawebgeek.com. You can leave comments there directly. So I hope this answers your question for today, Anuschka. I'm going to play around with those pages today a little bit more, make them a little fancier, take that button off of the success page and put it on the home page somewhere. And Anuschka, when you see that button on askawebgeek.com, you'll know that it's there because you asked the question. And now people can tip me. So if you want to tip me a buck and buy me a cup of coffee, I'd sure appreciate it.